I'm not hiring Christians.
Not to work on Sunday, you're not.
No, the job requires it, so I can't hire. Excuse me, sir. What's your religion? And do you ever plan to be pregnant? Welcome back to Under Oath. This is Jeff Kaufman, my partner Craig Lynd. This is the portion of the show we call Two Attorneys Argue.
Two attorneys argue.
And sometimes we agree, but sometimes we don't.
Do we agree ever?
No. So the workplace. The workplace. We're going to talk about the workplace because everyone thinks they have rights in the workplace.
They do have some rights.
You do have some.
You do have some.
Now, we're going to talk about a couple things. Workplace discrimination. Should they accommodate you for different reasons? Weird things you're allowed to do and not do. And stuff that people just take for granted that they can do.
Okay.
First issue.
Sounds like you have something all warmed up.
Oh, it's already locked up. Gerald Groff versus United States Postal Service.
Okay.
Now, Gerald doesn't work on Sundays. His religion says he can't. He's part of that there's an area of Christianity that doesn't allow you to work on a Sunday.
Did you know that that's actually not the Sabbath? The Sabbath is actually Saturday. It got changed.
Are you
when the Catholics?
Are you asking me as a Jew? Do I know when the real Sabbath is?
I think it's Saturday. What do you think it is? I'm not familiar with the Jewish religion.
You do realize the Bible, part 1, that's us.
The first part, Old Testament?
we invented the Sabbath, okay?
Yeah?
That's ours.
Okay.
You guys are tailing on to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
yes,
see, the
Sabbath
Catholics
is Friday
the
night.
Catholics changed it to Sunday.
Okay.
They changed it.
Friday?
And they admit to changing it.
Friday sundown.
Which is weird.
That's not weird. They change everything.
Right. So like everyone who is Christian, they all think that they're supposed to worship on Sunday because that's the Sabbath. It's really not.
No,
It's really Saturday.
They only do it because they want that day off.
Well, of course.
It's Friday sundown.
Friday sundown to
Saturday
sundown.
Yes.
I remember.
Well,
my grandparents were Seventh-day Adventists.
So they were semi-Jews?
Kinda.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Fact is this. Our boy Gerald wants every Sunday off. And he wasn't working on Sundays when he first started at United States Postal Service, but they said, listen, we might have days that you need to work, so we can try to work around it. Dum, dum, dum. Here comes Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
United States Postal Service loses money hand over fist. And we just write those checks as tax. But now we're going, hey, listen, Amazon's going to pay the United States Postal Service to deliver some of their stuff. The only problem is you guys got to work on Sunday. So everybody in his position now has to work on Sunday. And Gerald goes, ho, 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 Green Giant.
He says that?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
Is that included
Green Giant.
in his lawsuit that says that?
You need to accommodate me because my religion doesn't allow it. So
they do need to make, and what's the law? The law is they need to make reasonable accommodations for people's religious practices.
Okay, they do. His managers start taking his shifts. They try to let him swap out shifts. The problem is this, they can't do it every time. So after 6 years, Gerald goes, I'm suing you.
It took 6 years for him to get offended enough.
I'm suing you.
Not the first time it happened.
Under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, claiming religious discrimination due to inadequate
accommodation.
Just exactly what you said, because you're a genius. Now, what do you think happened? The lower court does what, you think?
They probably rule in his... No, they rule against him, right?
Well, they did rule against him.
Because they made reasonable accommodations.
Yes.
Like you said, they
did their best.
The managers did some of the shifts themselves.
They
made arrangements for him to swap shifts. So they took specific and continuing action to try and accommodate him, even though it didn't always work out perfectly. And every once in a while, he had to work a Sunday here and there.
But you know what happens? It doesn't end there. It goes to the Supreme Court. Now, this is 2023.
Mm-hmm.
We know the court is heavy conservative right now. And what do? They go, we don't think you used the right test here.
Well, it's interesting you say that because it isn't that they agreed with one side or the other. The Supreme Court in this particular case determined that the wrong standard was used by the lower court. So I saw online that everyone was saying, oh, this guy won. He won. He won. He didn't win. He didn't win. Post office didn't win. Nobody won.
Go back and figure it out.
It's like an umpire saying, hey, do over. We have offsetting fouls. Replay the down. That's what happened because the lower court judge applied the wrong standard. The lower court judge said, hey, they've made reasonable accommodations, so therefore the post office wins. The Supreme Court said, no, that's not the test. The test is, has the post office proven that this is an undue hardship for them? That's the test. So go back over, replay the down, and you guys tell us whether or not they've proven undue hardship.
Now, I'm gonna. This is an education right now. All right. A lot of people think that certain laws and rules are absolute. Now, there are 3 tests to determine if a right is unconstitutional or not, and it's always based on what class you're in, whether it be religious, age, sexual orientation. Now, so for example, religion, race, things like that are covered under what they call strict scrutiny, which means that the law has to be directly tailored to the best way possible to protect that person's right, and that there's no other options. And while this isn't a law they're going after here, this sounds like what they're trying to do. They're trying to apply strict scrutiny to this test, saying that, listen, if you need to blow through every other option, reasonable option, not reasonable, but perfect option. Undue hardship has to be the rule. There's nothing else you could do. And that sounds like what they're trying to say.
Well, no, you're making an impossibility argument.
It feels like undue hardship.
Undue hardship means that it is a far greater effort and inconvenience for the employer to make accommodations for this one particular employee. And here's the problem. And I think the post office should still lose under the correct test. Here's why. What is the undue hardship? The post office doesn't have to work on Sundays. Believe it or not, they did not always work on Sundays. I'm old enough to remember when you didn't get mail on Sunday. They could go back to that very easily, but they're trying to make money.
They have a contract.
The problem is they're not a business. They are completely funded by the taxpayers. They don't get to be competitive in the marketplace. If you're talking about UPS, FedEx, or Amazon delivery, sure, it's a completely different analysis. This is like a utility. You are here to serve a function, and you lose money every single year. It's just a part of doing business. We, the taxpayers, have decided we're going to let the post office lose money every year so that we can have the convenience of walking out to our mailbox, putting something in there to go states and states away, and getting mail that's sent to us. That's a convenience for all of us, and we're willing to let the post office lose money to do it.
Well, that sounds like a very hippy-dippy answer.
What do you mean hippy-dippy?
Hippy-dippy. Because
they're not,
you know what?
They're not a business.
Because you know what? They go to Congress about every year and say, we can't do it under this money. We need you to raise the price
so
of the
they
mail.
don't lose as much.
No, not as they said they can't do it.
Even though we are paid by the taxpayers,
hold on. And
we want the subsidy, i.e. the stamp price, to go up so that we don't lose as much.
Hold on. I let you do the hippy-dippy issue. Every time a senator gets up and says, we need to give this business to a private entity if they do not care about being successful. And that's always the argument. So they are being forced to take contracts for Amazon. They're being forced to carry United States Postal Service is forced to carry. Not. Yeah, they are.
I disagree with that.
Sir. They took
position.
the contract.
They're not being forced to do anything.
They are.
They weren't forced to take that contract. They didn't have to take that contract. What would have happened to the post office if they didn't take the contract? Are we going to fire the post office?
We do close offices. We close them.
We still get mail every day.
Not
to
certain
every
places
address.
don't anymore.
Every day to every address.
No, they farm it out to someone else. They say, guess what? This area doesn't get enough mail. So when we talk about undue hardship, we need to pass on billions of dollars because Gerald can't work on Sunday.
You don't need to pass on billions of dollars. You can hire people that are okay working on Sunday.
Okay, the point is this. That's
make
Gerald's
it so
job,
this
though.
guy doesn't have to
Gerald
work on
needs to go work somewhere else.
Any other company, I would agree with you. Not the post office.
Oh, so our
The
government.
post office, yes, it's a government
Oh,
entity. It's not in charge of making money. It's not supposed to make a profit.
So the government, because it's the government, we're making that exception?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We wouldn't apply
Oh.
the same test to FedEx or UPS that we do to the post
But it's the
office.
government, though, right?
It's a government job.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in the Army. I can't work on Sunday. You need to back me out of the field on Sunday. I can't fight.
You can't join the Army unless you're willing to fight
To give
on
up your
Sundays.
rights? No, what do you mean? I don't have to give up my rights. It's the
You have
government.
to. You
They'll
become
put- You can put somebody else
You
in this
become
job.
the property of the United States government.
I want to work in the White House on
second you
Sundays.
sign on.
Oh, property. Oh, so I
Your
give up
property,
So I
yes.
can give up my rights working at the government, working for certain parts of the government.
Yeah. Did he do
No.
that? Did he give up his
Yes,
rights? No, he didn't.
did.
No,
he
didn't.
took the job knowing that he couldn't get every Sunday off.
That's not true.
They even said in the beginning
That's
that
not
you
true.
might have to
He
work
didn't
on
work a
days.
Sunday for the first 13
That's not
years.
so. They said you might have to accommodate it. He took that job with the idea that he might have to accommodate. He took it. That was the fact.
What's their hardship then? What's your argument that they have an undue hardship?
Because what they have to do then is hire two people to do the same job.
Why?
So I have to pay him for the hell of
Why?
it. I have to give you charity.
Why do you have to
Just
hire
stay
two
home.
people?
Just stay home. Because the
people that
job
aren't
he's
religious.
in requires him to work on Sunday.
Hire people that don't practice Christianity. Or a Christian who will actually work on
Oh, so
Sunday.
now-
There's a bunch of
Watch
them
this.
out there.
I'm not hiring Christians.
Not to work on Sunday, you're not.
No, the job requires it, so I can't hire. Excuse me, sir. What's your religion? And do you ever plan to be pregnant? We know how that flows.
Well,
Hell no, we
Well,
won't go.
if you hire a man, you don't ever have to worry about
There you go. Sorry.
pregnancy.
What kind of genitalia do you have for this position? Yeah,
Well,
we're
you
going to
ca-
go down that road.
Yeah, you can kind of tell.
Yeah, maybe you can't. Not the point. The point is this. I can't discriminate on hiring because of these reasons, but you shouldn't be able to
You don't
discriminate
get
on
to.
what
You're
you
the
can
post
do.
office. You don't get to.
Let's say I'm
You
the
don't
pork
have the
taster.
same rights as Amazon or FedEx.
You get hired to be the pork tester for the U.S. government, and you have to eat pork. Sorry, I'm Jewish. I can't do this job.
That would be an undue hardship.
To them?
Mr. Judge, I can't have this job completed because the guy I hired can't do the job
Oh.
at all.
So the
So
job,
that's an undue hardship.
their boss had to come in and do their job. Could you imagine where that happens? Hey, guess what? The person can't be in. As an attorney, you're going, oh, I have a paralegal who doesn't work on Mondays or Tuesdays, so I'm drafting the stuff that I wanted her to draft.
So the manager can have somebody else cover that shift.
Couldn't have it.
Hey, I'll give you
I
Mondays
got to
off.
hire
You got to
somebody
work
else.
Sunday.
I got to hire somebody else. I only have the rights to hire so many people. I have a budget, but I have to hire now an extra person because this guy can't work on Sunday?
That sounds like an argument for a profit company. The United States Postal Service
It's a
is
job.
not a profit
It's
company.
a job.
That has nothing to do with making
I
a
get
hardship
hired
for
to
them.
work at, every job has a certain amount of work they're supposed to accomplish, whether you're government, private, or whatever, which means that the government now has unlimited
What are you
funds.
talking about? You're lumping them all together. You can't lump them all together. There's a different test
You think,
for,
you think a
for
state attorney?
entities that are government owned and private entities.
I'm a prosecutor, and I say, guess what?
working for the government.
I'm part of the world church,
Uh-huh.
and I can't work every holiday. I can't work on Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, and a lot of times Mondays, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays. But you got to hire me because of my religious beliefs. So now I have to hire two people to do the work that it took one person to do. Fair?
Probably not.
That's what the government's trying to say.
Yeah. That is what they're trying to say. But that's not the test. The test is undue hardship.
And you think it's not an undue hardship.
It's inconvenient. Yeah, I have to hire more people. Sure, you do. How's that an
So
undue
I need
hardship?
to hire somebody to do your job.
Yeah.
No.
How's that an undue hardship?
Because one
The
person does
job
that
is
job.
still getting completed. It's not like there's certain aspects of this job that the guy's absolutely refusing. He's not saying, oh, because of my religion, I can't deliver to this 5-block radius.
What if
He's
it
not
was?
saying that.
What if it was?
It's not, though.
But what if it was?
It's not working
It's the
on
same
Sunday.
argument.
No, it's not.
Okay. I
Because
can
the
deliver.
job can't get completed at all.
What
I will
percentage?
do the job, but you have to do it. You have to let me do it when my religion allows me to do it. And you know what? He probably did work a couple of Sundays. That's why he's pissed. Because he doesn't want to work
Then
Sundays.
get a different job.
He doesn't have to.
Sure, he does. You don't get to pick your job based on your religion.
Only when they prove that it's an undue hardship and they're not going to be able to do
Okay.
it.
Hold on. Why do you think they can't do it?
Because just hiring another person isn't an undue hardship. Especially for the post office. How many tens of thousands of employees do they have?
You don't
They're
think
gonna
they have
say,
budgets?
oh, Judge, you know what? It's an undue hardship. So what? Money is not an undue hardship.
What if they say to them this?
Not being able to complete the job, that's an undue hardship.
What if they say, hey, listen,
Money's
we'll
only
make you
a
a deal.
hardship when you're trying to make a profit.
Work 50 miles in another direction. We have another job for you, but it's 3 cities away. And
What
he
does
says,
that
no,
have to do
I
with
don't
what
want
we're
to.
saying?
That's the point. The point is this. He only wants to work
Well,
this
then
specific.
he's quitting because he doesn't like the accommodation. He's not being run out because of his religion.
And then you know what the
Those two are
you know
different.
what the argument's going to be? It's not a fair accommodation. You can't force him to work.
Yeah,
30
well,
miles
he's going
away.
to say, now you only gave me this crappy route 50 miles away because I'm Christian.
So lose-lose.
And he would have a good argument.
Government lose-lose.
We're not in the business of the government caring about whether or not the government loses.
They don't have budgets?
We want people who work for the government to have the ability to do their job without
Really?
getting harassed and not have to worry about whether or not they disclose their religion
So
accurately.
being a government employee is different than being a public employee.
Of course it.
They don't have
wait,
budgets?
Public?
Private.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have
Public
budgets.
employees.
There's no budget.
Their budget doesn't mean
They're just
anything.
printing money?
They've never
Printing money.
They've never been
The post
able to
office is
stay
now
on
the treasury,
budget. They've
and they
never
just give $100
in the
bills
history
out?
of the post office. They've never stayed on budget.
But they
They've
have
been
a budget.
over budget every
I don't know if they're
single
over budget.
year
They just lose
since
money.
the post office.
they-
that's what.
No, they
That's
have a
what
budget.
being over
No, it
budget is
doesn't.
losing money.
No, it doesn't.
Oh my God.
No, it doesn't. You could be on the budget and still lose money.
If
can
you're
budget.
projected to lose money, yeah, okay.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
They know they're projected to lose money. You know why?
No. They actually,
Okay.
they
A lot of-
actually
a lot of
pretend
people
to
don't
try
know.
and make money.
They're required to deliver mail to stupid areas where there might be one house 200 miles away, and they're required to deliver this stupid mail because our government requires it. So they expect to lose money. They just want to lose less of it. That's the argument because it's unfair
That's why-
on me as a taxpayer.
That's why if you're making an undue hardship for a government entity, the loss of profit is not going to be a factor to consider in an undue hardship analysis.
Our budget doesn't allow for us to make accommodations.
Who
for this.
cares about the budget? No one cares
America.
about the budget.
America cares.
The
Because they have that
budget is
same-
not a consideration for undue hardship.
I disagree. I think everyone is. In fact, that is the definition of undue hardship when something becomes too expensive to be able to do and have to hire two
They
people
have to
do
show
one
that
person's
it's too
job.
expensive.
Having to hire two people to do one person's job is undue hardship.
No, it's not.
Why should I accommodate somebody just because of a belief?
Because it's your job
It
to
should cost
accommodate
twice as
them.
much?
It's the government. You work for the government.
I don't think you're being unfair.
I am being unfair.
I think government
we
has
don't
more.
have to be fair with the government.
I think
the
government has more oversight
the
than
government
the private.
has to accommodate us.
No, they
not the other
when,
way
when
around.
does this happen?
Uh,
when does the government
About
ever accommodate you and I?
1776. That's about when it happened.
Are you talking more lines of the 60s? 1960.
60s?
Let's try 1960. Civil rights didn't exactly happen till then. Women weren't able to vote till what, 1910 or something? We weren't that accommodating in the 1700s. Your definition of hardship is solely based on the difference between
You're
private
basing it
and
solely on
government.
money. I have to hire somebody. Money.
Yes.
Money.
Money's
That's not
normally
it. No.
money's always
Not
part
it.
of it. Money is always part
Undue
of
hardship is I can't
afford
the
it.
job.
No.
There's no afford. There's no afford.
Then the issue at all
It's
times.
like an
hire
entitlement.
somebody
It's
else.
like Social Security. You just print it.
Oh, you think they could just? That's the government
so
jobs
the
are
post
based
office is going to lose how much extra for an employee to cover this
on.
guy's
So they
Sunday
give them a
shift?
check for no reason?
Sunday shift.
Then don't go to work. Just
No,
we'll write
he
you a
has to
check.
work. No, that
you don't.
that is an undue
Why?
hardship because you're paying for nothing.
But you're paying for two people anyway. I only need
Who
one
cares?
person to do the job.
Who cares?
I only need one. Now I got to hire two.
You're still making the money argument.
What's the difference
You
if him not
can't.
coming in?
That's not hardship.
What if he doesn't come in at all? How does that change?
Well,
the
if he
scenario?
refuses to do his job, then he's fired.
No, I'm not refusing to it. I just say, listen, my religious purposes, I can only work.
That's
2
not
days.
legitimate religion, though. Now you're just faking it.
What do you mean? Oh, there's fake religions that
Of
have more
course,
than
there's fake religion,
we
and
know the
we
world
know
church.
we've seen it. We've
Hold
seen
on,
fake
hold on,
religion.
Hold on. And who chooses that religion? What if it's the marijuana religion, where they can walk around and be stoned all day?
You have to pay me all the time, but I don't have to work ever. Yeah, that's an undue hardship because you're not
How much
completing the work.
would you say somebody should have to work before it becomes an undue hardship?
What are you talking about?
Half? He's taking off 15% of his job.
No, he's not.
Sure it is.
He's willing to work 40 hours.
He can't work 40 hours because we don't have it.
What do you mean you don't have it?
Okay. They have to work on Sunday for a specific reason.
They do not have to work on
they do.
Sunday. They do not.
They
Why do
do.
you keep nodding like why?
It's the contract.
They don't have to
Factory's
sign the
open.
contract.
Factory's open.
The post office didn't have to sign a contract with Amazon.
So billions of dollars lost because of Gerald.
No, because
That's not undue?
the decision. And you know what? They're probably making a lot of money.
Billions.
When they have to make a lot of money, they're going to have to accommodate, especially if it's a government agency, they're going to have to accommodate the odd Christian here and there who refuses to
Why
work
does it have to be
on
Christian?
Sunday.
Jews don't want to work on Saturday night. What if it's an
The
Orthodox Jew?
same analysis would
And then they're
apply.
going to say, well, we can't hire you because
And
the
they
job
would say,
is-
you know what? Hey, we've got the perfect solution. You're going to work on Saturday because you want on Sunday off for your religion. And you, Jewish guy, you're going to work on Sunday because you need Saturday off. There you go. You just solved it and thereby created a fact that it's not undue hardship.
You think he's scheduled 7 days a week?
No.
You think good old Gerald only has to work 7 days a week?
I don't know how many days he works.
Okay, well, I can guarantee it's not.
You can't guarantee nothing.
Yes, I can.
You don't know
then
how
you get
many days
overtime.
he's working.
They're hourly employees. They're not salaried.
I know that.
Okay, so you think he's working over 40?
I don't know.
Well, I don't think he is. Government
Based
doesn't
on
like
what?
to get. Government doesn't like overtime.
The post office doesn't care.
Yeah, I think they do. I think that's
They
why.
don't.
I think that's why
They
they don't
haven't
want.
made money since they were invented.
Well, what happens is that they're trying their best not to blow our money.
Well, they're doing a terrible job.
Unlike the
They
$1,000
can't
toilet seats
trample
from the government.
They can't trample people's rights just because they're trying to make $1 when it's not even their job to make $1. They're not supposed to make money. They are supposed to be available so that if I want to send you a letter, they have to take it to you.
So you're basically your feeling's this, that budgets, it doesn't matter how
For the
much it is.
post office, yeah.
No, I'm
doesn't
talking
matter.
other places too. Sure. What about the military? Should there be a budget on
Profit
military?
companies. Are you talking about profit companies?
No. I'm talking the military's not a profit company.
Okay. All right.
Military, should they have a budget?
I don't know why they would.
Because you don't have
Well,
you only have so much money.
They all get together and they pretend like there's a budget, but they spend more than that every year.
Every government
What year?
agency.
What year did they not blow the military budget? What year? Tell me what
Or
year.
overspend.
Tell me what year that happened.
They overspend? I don't think they can overspend because they only have so much money.
No, they overspend all the
No,
time.
they say they need more. They need more. But it's like a checkbook.
Okay, so we're gonna say the budget is this, and then right before it
Next
runs
year.
out, hey, you know what? We need to amend the bill to add more budget. Okay, that's not a budget.
I got one word. America.